We need to normalise those 3 points to stop mass immigration, to stop the boats and send them back, and no resettlement of the boat people in Scotland. That's what we need to do. And if we can normalise those 3 points, then the politicians will have to listen. And at the moment, the politicians don't want to listen. They just simply want to preen themselves, morally speaking. They just want to emote about Scotland's values and isn't diversity wonderful? And, you can agree with all of that if you want. But that doesn't mean that we should have 1.2 million people coming into the United Kingdom every year. Okay, you can enjoy diversity as much as you want, but that's not connected to the matter at hand, which is the scale of immigration and the fraudulent asylum seeking that the country is being subjected to. Okay, and what you find with these people is they will just emote. John Swinney was emoting yesterday in the Scottish Parliament about Scotland's values, and apparently that's all to do with diversity, if you didn't know. And you can say, okay, fine, John, but what about mass immigration? What about the country being invaded by small boats? What about resettling people of whom we know nothing around Scotland? Do you have a position on that at all? Do you even care? Are you for opening Scotland's borders to the world, or are you for securing Scotland's borders? And you see, politicians won't listen to people unless they fear that they'll lose the vote. They can take everything away from us, but they can't take our vote away. And our vote in a democratic society is very precious. And we cannot be squandering it on people who will destroy our country, whether that's Labour or the SNP or the Lib Dems or the Greens or the Tories. If they're not for these 3 points, we cannot be voting for these people. And we will get plenty of chances to vote for them. Next year in 2025, it's the English Council elections. In 2026, it's the Scottish and Welsh elections. And in 2027, it's the Scottish Council elections. So these 3 points will remain current for the next 3 years and beyond. And it's our job to normalise the conversation around these 3 points. And it's the job of our opponents to make sure those 3 points don't get heard. It's the job of our opponents to try to smear people who will bring attention to these 3 points. It's our job as people who believe in borders, who believe in Scotland, who believe in the United Kingdom, to normalise these points. And this is an important point. You might be a Scottish nationalist, in which case you will differ with me on the value of the union of the UK. But surely as a Scottish nationalist, you would want Scotland's borders to be protected. But your leader in the SNP or in the Greens, they don't want Scotland's borders to be protected. They want Scotland to be open to the world. And the only excuse they will have is diversity, which is meant to be some kind of good that we're all just meant to agree with. But of course, with diversity comes other diverse things that don't necessarily help society. But even if we believed in diversity, that wouldn't change the point that immigration is too high. We need to stop the invasion via the small boats. We need to send them back, and we need to ensure that the people of whom we know nothing are not resettled in our country, that they are given a swift ticket home. And hey, we'll pay for it as well, because we're already paying for them to have hotel accommodation. The figures that we see are around about £8 million a day going to hotel accommodation for these people. Well, let's just pay them money to send them home. Get them on the next flight. Here's the money, mate. And here's a wee grant. Go home and stay home. It can be done perfectly easily, and it can be done perfectly humanely as well.